9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Liftoff.
Liftoff. Liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
Roger, Tower.
Welcome to the Alien Probe Podcast. It is Saturday, January 31st, 2026. I'm Doug, this is Matt. Joining us today again is Constance Victoria Briggs. Welcome. Author of, what is the latest book isn't out yet, but what is the other book that you had? Earth's Galactic History?
Yeah, Earth's Galactic History and its Extraterrestrial Connection.
Awesome.
That's a great book.
Today we're going to be talking about USOs, the undersea UFOs, and one of my favorite subjects. And I haven't seen any. Matt, have you seen any?
No.
There's a lot of stories out there, though. And don't get off. But my brother was a sonar. He's going to kill me. Did I even mention
you
this?
just said that.
He was a sonar technician on a ship. In the you're in the Southern California area, I know, Constance, but he's seen things on the scope down there that are kind of unusual, and he works for a DoD contractor.
And you're giving away all the secrets.
He will not give me any specifics, but he just told me that
secrets.
there is something going on down there. So tell us about what you got going on there, Constance.
So, I just want to say really quick that, I mentioned the book earlier. I had wanted to come back on because I wanted to touch on the subject. It's in my Earth Galactic History book. There's a chapter. And I wanted to go a little deeper because when I go on shows, I can only, scan it when the book first comes out. But this is a very interesting subject because it's also the water, Earth's waters and what's going on in them is also the catalyst for that book. It's my favorite chapter. Because, it's just phenomenal that we have something going on in our waters, and really nobody around me anyway talks about it. And I live 8 minutes by the way. I'm, like you said, I'm in Southern California. I'm 8 minutes from the beach. I've never seen anything, but I hear about things out there, and I'm like, darn, I missed it. But there are a lot of stories about the coast. Up and down the West Coast, and UFOs being seen entering the water and hovering over the water, and submerging and then over through the years. Now, this isn't happening on a daily basis, right? But I do have some stories in there of the idea of why Southern California may actually have a USO base located somewhere around here, and most especially at Catalina Island, the Catalina Channel. I don't know if you gentlemen have been over there or not, but it's beautiful to visit.
Yeah.
But there's a lot happening. It's a hot spot, and they think there may be a base there.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a great story. I was zip lining at Catalina, and they have the handlers, at every station. And I said, hey, you guys ever see any, because I know there's a lot of UFO activity down in that area. Mm-hmm. And the guy's like, yeah, you know what? All the time we see these things come from the sky and go into the water. And he goes, it's not even a special occurrence anymore. It's just,
The funny thing about water, too, is we know less about our oceans than we do about space above us. We don't, we can track parts of Mars, or, the areas of Mars and the moon. But underwater, we can only see so far. So if there's something going on there, that's a great place to hide, actually.
71%, you're right, and 71% of Earth's, waters of Earth has not been explored. It's, the water makes up, we've explored, we've only explored 5% of the water.
Yeah.
Right.
To get that out.
There you go.
Math.
Yeah, you know what?
Hard.
There's someone down there. There's someone down there.
Yeah.
And whoever they are, sometimes, they play with us.
Yeah.
They've been known to, so they've shown up on sonar, as you said, and, they can't figure out. They're going like so fast. We know that they're not made by, we believe that the researchers believe they're not made by humanity because they're just so far ahead of us. They can outrun us. They play with us by kind of, like dodgeball or something, coming close and then moving forward and racing away. And a couple of times they've come close, like they wanted to crash into us. There was a submarine that said, "Oh no, we're going to hit," and then they stopped.
Yep.
Right as they got close and went the other way. I mean, who are these guys?
Right.
Why are they doing that?
Yeah.
And why don't they introduce themselves? And do they have only basis there, or is there a civilization down there? And people say, oh, there can't be a civilization out there. There's, water pressure. It's too cold and all of this. And if you're dealing with extraterrestrials, and I'm changing kind of, my new book coming out on this subject, I say non-human intelligence because we really don't know who they are. But if we're obviously dealing with someone who's advanced. And of course, if they are that advanced, then they may have the means, technology, they obviously do, and science to be able to create habitats to live in under that kind of pressure. They know that we can't get down there yet. Yes, yes, we are building habitats for exploring the oceans, but they don't go down that far, right?
Yeah.
They can get away from us. And you want to say something? Because I can rattle on all day.
They may have always been there before, we were evolved on top of here. So technically, they may be the actual Earthlings, and we might be the visitors or so. We don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of opinions about whether they were here first, and we're the ones. But where do you think these entities are coming? I mean, we hear a lot about, are they, some say they could be from the future, some say that they could be from another dimension. What do you think, Constance? Were these? I mean, of course, we don't know because we haven't experienced it. What do you think?
So I actually don't have the future theory in my book. I do have some theories as to who they may be, and I have to tell you that I think there's more going down there than just maybe one group. It may be several. Okay, there's a whole world going on in our oceans because people haven't just seen UFOs; they've seen entities and beings of different types and different shapes and different looks right on the beach, standing on the beaches, and they're all different. So I don't know. And then they've seen them go, descend in there. But okay, let's just focus on one. Let's focus on the ones. Let's just say one group at a time. Or let's just assume that for now that there's just one. They could be like Doug. I'm sorry, I forgot your name. Not Doug.
Matt.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, Matt.
That's right.
I'm sorry. Like Matt mentioned, they could be ancient because history shows that as Matt said, we've been building on top of each other, and this is coming out more and more and more. That there was some civilizations on Earth that had ancient technology. They could fly. In the Hindu writings, they talked about going to other worlds, going to the moon, way back when. So we had that ability to fly, and some of them talked about, like the Egyptians have some images of submarines. People say, oh, no, those aren't real. They are. And they are. I believe they are. So I believe that they could be an advanced race that has been down there for ages and that have lived through cataclysms on our Earth where humanity was nearly wiped out and had to start again and again and again here. But they've been progressing all the time. I mean, if the story is true that they had technology eons and ages ago on Earth, then they could have already been there when we had our first cataclysm, or they could have already been there when humankind first appeared on Earth. Or it could be extraterrestrials from elsewhere. They could be from outer space. And they were, I suggested this too, that maybe they were looking for another world. Maybe they came from a water world. We are on, in my opinion, a water planet, okay? Yeah. It's mostly water. So, somebody could have been escaping a cataclysm on their own world and looking for a place to live, and they came here and came into the oceans. I know you asked me who I think it is, but I don't know who it is. Yeah. But, that's another scenario. Or it could be extraterrestrials or non-human intelligence, what have you, that have come in to monitor humanity, because I hear that Earth is being monitored for a variety of reasons, and placed themselves here. Who do I think it is? I'm still working on that, but I'm leaning toward someone from space, but I really, I don't know.
Yeah. I think it could be many different things. I think we're seeing a bunch of that's why it's more confusing than anything, and then we can't place our thumb on it because there's so many different things all happening at once, because that's the way life works. I mean, look at your own lives, there's always something happening all at different times in you all the time. So I think it tends to be a bunch of different things.
It could be a bunch of different things. There's, like I said, we've got on the surface, we've got different groups of people. We've got, some countries are further advanced with their technologies than others. And, for people in the UFO community, there are those that believe there are extraterrestrials walking among us now. Yeah. We definitely know, that we have UFOs in space, and, people, even mainstream people that I'm seeing online, are saying, there are motherships in Florida. They're just sitting out there. So we have all of that going on in the surface. It's a whole world. I believe the same could be going on in the oceans, and I think that humanity is just getting to the point where we understand that there is a world down there. There could be underwater cities that we knew nothing about in our oceans. But the question is, why don't they introduce themselves? Is this a secret that we're not supposed to know them? Because they're obviously there. Our government is talking about them in hearings, Yeah. And so it's not a secret. It isn't a governmental. Well, it used to be.
Right.
But not anymore. I mean, they've had hearings. The hearings are publicized. I had one of them on this morning over coffee, just trying to get the old ticker going there for the show. Yeah. I was listening to them. I mean, you can just go online and look at the hearings, and you can see these naval officers talking about what they've seen. Yeah. And it is just amazing. Another thing people don't know is that we've fired on some of these things. Did you know that?
Oh, yeah.
We've fired. There was one case where they were trying to, just blow it away, and they couldn't. Forget it. Mm-hmm. Forget it. They really got a little freaked out. And, this thing just dove deeper.
Yeah.
Deeper.
The directive now is don't shoot at them. I mean, that's what I've heard from people. We're not to shoot at them. Have you heard the Tim Burchett, the interview he's had where he discusses that people, military officers have told him that there is things in the water. I mean, football
size, ships.
Stadium-sized ships moving at high speed.
Yeah.
And the interview I saw is 5 locations. He specifically mentions there's 5 locations, and I tried Googling it. I couldn't get it either.
Oh no.
I know Catalina. I know that's one of them for sure.
Oh, for the bases?
Yeah. Where are the 5? Do you know? Have you heard where there's like 5? They specifically mentioned 5 locations where they think they are, which is interesting.
In my new book, I do have. I do have a whole bunch of USO hotspots. In this book, I list some locations. Argentina. Argentina is a place where they believe there could be a base. North Island. I don't know if these are the same that
Right,
Tim
right.
is mentioning or not, but North Island, New Zealand, Puerto Rico.
Yeah,
Puerto Rico.
I was going to say Puerto Rico.
Oh
Yep.
my God, the stuff going on over there.
Yeah, there's a ton of underwater things happening there.
And excuse me, Lake Titicaca.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Group. That's 3. That's 4. Lake Erie, Ohio. Lake Baikal, Russia. Am I saying that correctly? I hate to butcher words.
I know something happened in Russia where there was like 5 underwater divers, and they ran into something that messed them up, and they got the bends because they were sent immediately up, back up to the water after a certain amount of pressure.
Yeah, that's yeah. I actually have more than 5 here, guys. Matt, I know the story you're talking about. It's weird as that might sound. It's one of my favorite, and it's not my favorite. You know, I'm sorry that people got hurt, but the reason I like that story is because it does prove to me that there are humanoids
Right.
moving around
Yep.
in the waters.
Yep.
And if you don't mind, I will just rattle off these bases, and we'll come back to that.
Okay.
If you don't
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
Sorry to take over. Anyway.
No, take it over.
That's what you're here for.
Exactly.
Okay, so also the Mariana Trench is another place. Point Doom, California. Shag Harbor, Nova Scotia, Canada. Shag Harbor, Nova Scotia, Canada. Oh, that was an event. So anyway, Miami, Florida. They think one is there too.
Oh wow.
So those are the places. But so Matt, that is a really good incident example.
Right.
Because what happened there was the Soviets sent some Navy divers in for training, for deep dive training. And when they got down there, they were doing their thing, and they came across these beings, and they were humanoid, but obviously not human. Humanoid. They were deep, and they were moving, and they had on suits, and they had on a kind of helmet that they were saying looked high tech, further advanced than anything they've seen. I don't know how they knew that, but that was something that they had stated. They came across these beings. Now, they actually left the waters, because who wouldn't, right?
Right.
They left the waters when they came across them, and they went to their superiors, and they said, "Hey, we saw these things down there." And the superiors were like, according to the report that I read, were like, "What? Go back."
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yep.
And I guess you have to do what you're told, right?
Yeah.
And they were,
Orders.
Yeah.
And they went back. I can't remember if they told them to try to capture one or not, but they went down there and they tried to capture. They came across them again.
Yeah.
And they tried to capture them. Well, what happened? Now, this is Matt. Maybe you can help me with this, because I just don't understand this kind of technology. They were thrown out of the water with some kind of I don't know what the word would be for the weapon that is able to, when they try to catch them, toss them out of the water. Anyway, they were thrown out of the water by some weapon.
Right.
And they died. 2 of them, it was 5 of 5?
Yeah, it was 5. Yep.
Okay, and 2 of them died,
Yep.
and the other 3 were critically injured. Someone said that was because they didn't depressurize before they left.
Yeah, the
and that
bends.
caused it.
Yep.
So that's a story that was declassified, and that's why it's one of my favorite, because it was reported, it's declassified, it's out there for us to see. Then there obviously are humanoids in the water. Are they the same humanoids that are flying all of the UFOs that we see? The waters way over there, are they the same that are in the waters here? That's why I said we don't know how many groups they are or who
Right.
they are. But I tell you, I put this story in my book here, The Earth's Galactic History. It's also in my new book, if I ever get that published soon, I hope.
Publishers out there, pay attention.
Yeah, pay attention. So there was this woman, and I do have to preface this in the books. that, this isn't a declassified story or anything like this, but she went on social media and she talked about an experience she had working for a marine organization where they were sent to look at beached whales. All right? Her and a team went to look at these beach whales. And the whales had washed up on the beach, and they were dead, and they had holes in them. And they were perfectly round holes. And it looked to them, when they looked closer, that it looked like someone took a kind of instrument and made these holes and extracted the meat of the whales out. Someone was eating the whales,
right.
It looked like, right? So, and they said that the whales were like that before they got there, that no natives of this, I don't know where this was because that was anonymous, that none of the natives, from that area had done that. So they decided that was just so weird to run a deeper search of that area, and they brought in special equipment. And they've got equipment now where they can look at the bottom as far as they can go of the oceans and to look at things. I don't know what the name of the equipment is. I have it in my book. I can't remember. Anyway, they ended up finding humanoid beings with this equipment, and they watched them for a week. Wow. And they said they were tall and they were thin. They all looked alike. And they had weapons that they fired on the submersible that they sent down there. They fired on it. And they said that she said they had found habitats and vehicles.
Oh, wow.
She said, we're not alone, and I want the world to know. And she's, so to me, the reason I included that in my book, although I couldn't prove what she said, it's because it sounded so similar to the beings.
Yeah.
And that Russian report.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So I'm like, in my book, I pretty much said, could they be the same?
Yeah.
And what else is interesting is that the oceans, I mean, we it's not really oceans, it's one ocean, right? It's the ocean is, we have different names for the ocean. So
right.
people think the ocean here and the ocean here, but really
it's all the same water.
Right. They can be traveling.
Yep.
All the time.
Yep.
All over the place.
Yeah.
And, maybe it was the same humanoid beings.
And they'd literally scale 70% of the planet because that's how far the water stretches. 1982, I can't even say it, Lake Baikal was that Russian incident. And you're right, they were these tall 3-meter aliens, or whatever they were, beings, humanoids. But yeah, that's... think about it, they're both aggressive upon, being spotted. That sounds like the same beings to me.
Well, it's our military. Was it the military firing on them? Is that what the story is?
I don't think this one. No, the first one she said they were doing an exercise and they saw them, and then they were ordered to go back, and that's when they got attacked, basically, because I think they were trying to capture one. She's right about all of that.
Wow,
so they got fired on because we bothered them.
Right, exactly. Right, right.
And the second account, if the second account is true, we sent down that submersible, and they were like, what the heck?
Right.
I don't know. Fired on that submersible.
Yeah, they're like us. Shoot first, ask questions later. So
that's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
What's the big secret? If they're coming out of the water, if they're playing with us in the water, they're coming out of the water, if they're, flying the UFOs that sometimes are also, kind of playing with people.
Yeah.
I mean, why can't they introduce themselves? Why can't we know them?
Why is there a secret about this? That is a good question.
I don't know, given the geopolitical landscape that's going on now, I wouldn't introduce myself to us either.
Well, they seem quite capable of handling
well, they probably want to just keep to themselves and not introduce. They know what's going on up here.
Could it be for nefarious reasons?
Could be, Or
they're shy. Maybe they're just shy.
Yeah, I just think they're not sure about us. I mean,
we're not sure about us.
Yeah, so. I mean, we're on Mars now. We're not on Mars, where we got the rovers and things. I think that Mars were these something, maybe not these guys, but somebody came over. You know, their planet was dying. Their atmosphere got sucked off and pulled away, and then they realized that pretty quickly that Earth was the only place to go in the solar system, the most convenient place to go. And they had, I don't know that guy, but the MK Ultra dude, Uri Geller.
Oh yeah, yep.
I mean, somebody from they throw out 1 million years ago. I don't know how long ago it was, but they ended up coming here. But they came here while we were still in, you know, pretty volcanic state. That Earth wasn't what it is today, but quite possibly the ocean was the only safe place to be because of the volcanic activity. And something's going on. We all know something's going on. Whether we're or not, we're going to be introduced to it.
You don't need your government to confirm that to you?
No, I don't need. No. No. They're trying. I do with the Senate hearings. I mean, they're just the jury's still out, so to speak, with this Senate hearing thing. They keep throwing these guys out there, and you know, the people that have seen things. What's your opinion about Bob Lazar, Constance? What do you think about his story? I know everybody knows Bob. What do you think about what he's seen?
Yeah, I don't know. I keep going back and forth.
He's not
but
popular.
You know, he's got a lot of description, so I guess I believe him. He's just he knows too much. He's too descriptive. I don't believe he made all of that up, if that's what you're asking. I haven't followed him very much, by the way. I've looked at some things here and there, so I can't tell you I know a lot about him. But, you know, the stuff that he says that he saw reverse engineered and we have that and that, yeah, why not? You know, I try to give people the benefit of the doubt because I've had some strange experiences in my life. So I hate to poo-poo people, you know, what they're saying. So I'm just going to go with, yeah, he said it. Okay. It's
Wait
real.
a minute. What's the strange experiences that you've had, Constance?
Some of mine are
You're not going to get away with that.
You can't gloss over that one?
You're not going to
just... You're not just going to... Not UFO shows. No, I mean, I've had some, you know, paranormal experiences. I had one where I was doing a show, a year and a half ago, and I was sitting right here, and something came in through my room. My bedroom's to the left here, and my studio, my office is to the right, and it came. Oh no, wait. Okay, no. Let me rephrase. I was sitting here talking to. I don't know if you know Brett Lauder or not. Brett
sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Anyway. So I'm sitting here, and I had a cold, so I had Kleenex in my hand, and this little white puff-looking ball kind of came up over my hand, and it was perfectly rounded. And I looked, and it's like all in slow motion because I'm like, I had this white thing in my hand. I'm like, what did I do to the tissue that it's chopping up? And I'm on the. You know, like now I'm talking to Brad, and I'm like, I can't just get off camera. I see the doggy back there.
He's going to town back there.
I can't just get off camera and say what's going on.
Right.
So I just, you know, it's slow motion. So then it came up, and this white thing went around me, and then I could feel a fluttering on my back.
Oh.
It was like it was growing, and it was happening so fast and so slow at the same time, like it grew. I could feel it get bigger, and then it went that way, and then it shot out that way, and you could see this thing on the film. And I'm like, what? You know, when I finished with Brett, I'm like, what was that? A bird? But it wasn't. It wasn't. It was an orb kind of.
Yeah, orb. That sounds what you're thinking.
That's just one example. I won't go into the rest of it.
That's great. That's a great example. I
will tell you that when I was about 9 years old, I was riding with my mother, and I lived in Alexandria, Virginia, and we were riding to the what we called then the drugstore, and it was evening time. It was dark, and we're going across the road, and my mother was a temperamental driver, so I had to always be quiet. I couldn't really talk. That made me nervous. And so
that sounds like my mom.
Yep.
As we're going, I see this thing in the sky. right? And today I call it a UFO. I had no idea then. I remember thinking the word thing.
How old
I
were
wonder
you?
if that's one of those things. I must have heard about UFOs because I thought, oh, I wonder if that's one of those things. To this day, I couldn't place it. I've gotten headaches trying to figure this thing out. Yeah, it was a UFO, and it was just sitting there hovering, and we just passed by, and I just was like, oh, and I didn't say anything to my mother, and I thought about that thing for years, and I had forgotten about it until I started writing my moon book. And I was writing about this lady who was saying she saw something in the sky hovering, and I thought at that time, I said, well, it wasn't a helicopter or airplane.
Right.
You know, they don't just hover, and I went, oh. You know, that happened. It was the same experience. There was something round in the sky, and there were lights revolving, and it was hovering. And if anyone knows the area, it was hovering over Arlandria, Virginia, which is right kind of next door to Alexandria. And, you know, the line changed, and they call it Arlandria. If you know that area, you know where I'm talking about. But I was young, but I remember it to this day, yeah. So, strange experience. So I'm not going to start knocking people's experiences. I don't know Bob Lazar as much as you probably do, but I know he has some claims, and it sounds legit.
Yeah.
I'll knock him for all of it.
That's Doug's buddy.
I'm
That's
not a
I'll
big
have to
fan.
do a
No.
deep dive into him.
I like
You know,
Bob Lazar.
I'm not a big fan.
I
But that's
like him
okay.
as well.
I mean, you know, they should put him up in front of the Senate if they think he's got something. I mean, they're putting everybody that has secondhand stories, and then they don't want to bring the guy that's actually seen the things and interview him. It's interesting why they won't do it, or they haven't. I
I don't
can't
think he
believe.
wants to. I think that
Doesn't matter what he wants. They can subpoena him. You know, they subpoena him, bring him out.
Tell us
What
the
have
story
you seen?
now.
They should.
You know,
Why not?
I mean,
They
you're
should.
the man. You saw the aliens. You saw 7 ships. You saw,
Oh, 7 ships, yeah.
you know. So, you know, I would be interested to see him be put on up in front of the panel there and tell his story. But that's a whole other thing. I always have to throw that out there because
Invite him on the show. He might.
Yeah,
be
I'll
listening.
invite him on the show.
He
He's
might
not
be
going to
listening.
come on
You
because
sure?
because
Maybe.
I'll dirt him.
So,
But yeah, it's interesting. The moon and let's go back to the moon real quick before we. We're going back to the moon, Constance. Sounds like
Yeah,
if they ever
keep
get
saying.
this thing going.
They keep saying.
yeah, they
you
keep
know,
saying,
Artemis.
exactly.
Artemis. Now
They're
it's
not
too
going
cold.
on the moon, right? They're just circling.
No,
it.
this time because NASA is baby step. It's a baby step.
Because they threw away all the other steps that we had when we already been there a few times.
Yeah,
they
they
threw all
can't.
that away, so we got to start over.
Yeah,
again.
now we got to see if we can go orbit the moon and come
Yeah.
back. First, we sent Snoopy in the ship to orbit to see if he'd survive, the stuffed animal, and then he came back. And then now we're going to send the ship out. I hate to be a downer about NASA, but
I was like, I like.
you know,
Snoopy.
they move way too slowly. I mean, we may age out by the time anything happens.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, people are seeing things in the sky here all the time.
Yeah.
And there are astronomers that have, you know, put up videos that they took of the moon where there's things flying around.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, we don't really need NASA to go and tell us there's someone up there.
Right.
Really,
Right.
because we have the videos. We have
Yeah.
it. There are cameras everywhere
I
now.
agree.
We really don't need, honestly, the government to tell us that there are extraterrestrials.
Correct.
I mean, you know, people that
They're not
I
going
never-
to anyway.
They don't have to. I mean,
Yeah.
they're like we're here. But I'm sorry, Doug. You were going to say something else about the moon.
There's many things I could say about the moon. I think we were allegedly were told to get off and never come back. Did you hear that story?
That wasn't that from
Yeah.
what's his name? The guy who passed away.
One of the astronauts said,
yeah.
you know, don't.
Neil Armstrong.
And then we didn't. And then you heard about Apollo 20, the story about that.
Oh yeah, all of those are in my book.
Yeah.
And I
she's
urge
on top of the moon.
everyone to you read your book because so then now we're going to go back, and even though we were told not to, and I just think they're just dragging it out. You know.
Yeah, I don't get it. By the way, guys, I'm going to
Yes,
just
show the book.
Definitely show
a
the
cheap
book.
shot here. Here's one book.
Great book. Yes.
Yeah, I have to do my own little marketing.
That's
here.
right. Put it up there. Nice. I love that
The
cover.
Moon's
Oh,
Galactic History has all those stories in it. Apollo 20, what the astronauts saw on the moon. There's even some dialogue
Nice.
between the astronauts when
See,
they.
we don't have to go. They just buy your book. They're good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Encyclopedia of Moon Mystery.
Yeah.
They're a lot
cool.
of fun. They
That's
were
a
fun to
great
write.
one, too.
Okay, so, there is a very famous story from the Apollo 11 mission where, the astronauts, they went when they first got to the surface, they saw ships along the crater. They had landed,
parked.
next to a crater, and they saw them, and they said they went on they were freaked out. They went on the radio, a secret line to mission control, and they said, they're here. There's someone else here. They're watching us. These things are big. They're menacing, and that was a 2-minute conversation where on Earth they were cut out, and people watching watching this couldn't hear it. But that did happen, and I do put it in the book, the dialogue, and it absolutely. And so there are people who were on mission control, and people who were watching, and scientists and things, and said, yeah, that did happen. And what was interesting is that there's a twist. The astronauts said that these things look menacing, whereas this one man named Maurice, I don't know how to say his last name, I want to say Xavier, or something, who was working for NASA at the time, was saying they look more like these ETs were waiting for them to land to see if maybe something would go wrong, if they, needed help. That was a
Right.
very interesting twist, because people thought, okay, well, we've been warned off the moon. Why would they say that? But the whole warning off the moon thing, I understood, came later, after Apollo 11. But I don't know. I mean, there's some mix up there. But I thought it was interesting that he said that these ETs may have wanted to have helped them. And there is a story about Apollo 13 and Apollo 10, who both were in trouble. Apollo 10 is believed to have been helped by extraterrestrials when they were doing a trial run for Apollo 11, which Apollo 11 is the one that the astronauts that landed on the moon. So they had a trial run for Apollo 10, and they were trying to get as close to the surface of the moon as they could, and they got stuck. And this craft moved past the window, and one of the astronauts saw it. And when it moved by, the problem that they were having with their equipment was gone, and they were
wow.
able to
I
continue
didn't hear
the
that
mission.
story.
So they thought that they were helped. Apollo 13 has a story too, where you don't see it in the movie, but it is believed that they were helped by extraterrestrials too. Now that is a rumor. Apollo 10 is not a rumor. That one was more, authenticated than the Apollo 13 story. But my point is, maybe they were not so nefarious as we may have thought,
Right.
if they were helping them, and if one of the scientists thought maybe they were trying to help them. However, that does not mean that they didn't warn humanity off the moon, because humanity kind of excuse me, can I say sucks?
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope I can use that word on here. I know. Yeah, I mean, really, because humanity is a warring race.
Right.
And we're destructive.
Yep.
And trash. They left a lot of trash on the moon.
Yeah, I heard that.
They left equipment on the moon.
Yeah.
They left buggies on the moon.
Right.
So, of course, why wouldn't they warn
Yeah.
humanity off the moon?
Stay off
it's
this
not
moon.
so surprising.
Right.
Yeah.
Stay off this planet.
It's not because they're bad. It's because
No.
they're smart.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Earthlings mess things up.
Yeah, look at our own planet, what's orbiting around here, all the trash we
Trash.
send out. They track all these pieces of things we have just orbiting the sky. I'm surprised things just don't crash into each other all the time.
We need a space disposal company to go up there and clean all that shit up.
Andy Griffith had a show. Did you ever see that show?
No.
He had Andy Griffith on a show where he built spaceships to go into orbit and retrieve salvage.
Really? I don't think I've ever seen that.
I can't remember the name of it, but it was pretty awesome. It was just campy 70s stuff, but it was pretty cool.
So is that in your book too? The ones that the two that you were talked about?
Which ones?
The moon, about Apollo 10 and Apollo 13. Is that in your? Perfect.
Yes, they're in both of the books. Of course, this one is a narrative, so it goes into, more detail.
Right.
And so the other one is an encyclopedia, and it's a little bit summarized in small paragraphs. But yeah, real interesting stuff. And you have to wonder, did they have anything to do, does it have anything to do with the oceans? How can there be a tie into the oceans? Well, it may sound like fantasy, but we, I believe, have to consider every possibility. And there, I don't want to make this a moon show. We can do another moon show if you guys ever want.
Right.
I did it years ago,
yeah.
right? But I mean, it is thought that the moon is a ship by some people, that it was brought in here.
Yeah.
And if it was brought in here by someone, what was the reason? Well, there are theories, but did the beings all stay on the moon, or did any of those beings come to Earth? Is my thought. Are they still there? It's thought to be inhabited by some researchers, like some Russian scientists many years ago put out the theory that the moon is a spaceship. And, that's a well-known theory if you're in the UFO community. It is kind of an old theory. But, you can't just toss these things aside because it's old when you're talking about scientists that said they thought it wasn't inhabited, and that they said it has equipment and everything a race of beings might need to live in and come across the universe. And there are some stories there's an ancient tale that talks about the moon being sent across the universe by people who possibly had contact with extraterrestrials that gave them this information. So the question is, did those beings ever live? If there are beings on the moon living there, do they come to Earth? Are they monitoring Earth? Did they send some of their people down and some of them still there? There's all kinds of speculations and theories, all very interesting, and I think we should be talking about it all.
Yeah. The moon directly has a relationship with the water on the planet. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, with the tides and everything, but it's it doesn't it doesn't rotate. It's interesting. It doesn't rotate.
Like
it was placed in. I think it was pulled. Your story is good. I think it was brought here. I know, but anyway, I surmise that it was brought here ages ago.
Were you around then?
I was around. Yeah, then they put it in orbit, and it, when it comes across the sun, it's exactly the diameter of the sun.
Yeah.
It's
second largest moon.
Yeah, it's
all the planets.
It's just weird. I don't know how it could be placed in orbit in that distance. Perfectly blocks out the sun when it comes by. It has to be. I don't know if it's artificial. They said they took off, and it's with Apollo, one of them, where they dropped something as they took off, and it rang like a bell, like it was hollow. So I don't know. It's we need to go there. We need to. I don't know if we're going to be. What's on the back side? The dark side of the moon.
Or the front side too. I mean, there's things up there they know there's up there. They're not on the front side.
Yeah.
According to Pink Floyd, there is no dark side of the moon. It's all dark.
It's all dark.
It's all dark. It is all dark, really. I mean.
Yeah, but we're
the
going
far
up there.
Side, not the dark side. Far side.
Right.
We're sending stuff up there all the time, though. Have you heard of Firefly?
Sounds familiar.
Firefly's a aerospace company that launches unmanned supply for whatever they're doing. They're bringing supplies to the moon.
Really?
On the dark side. Firefly Aerospace. And it's like, what are they supplying and what are they doing? And
that's funny how I've never heard that. So that means most common public probably have never now heard that either.
I haven't heard that. Why are they doing that?
I don't know why. Know? I don't know. If you look
are
up
they trying to build something?
Right. That's what it
there's
sounds
something.
Like. Or fortifying what they have already built. Maybe
Well, you
just-
heard of Project Horizon, where we were going to put a moon base up there.
I did. Yeah, we've been
in
talking
the
about that for
50s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you've read The Day After Roswell with Philip Corso.
I haven't read it.
Oh,
I
you
have a lot
have
of
to
books
read
I haven't
that
read.
book.
I'm
I
waiting
have a lot
for
of
it.
books.
I'll read it.
You're waiting for
Yeah, I'm waiting
Matt's
for it.
waiting for me to be done with it. So
Yes,
I can give it
I
to
want to
him.
read it.
But I would urge you to read that. I mean, that's
Okay.
about what the materials they got from Roswell and how they were distributed to the private companies, and then they did the research. Most commonly, night vision and printed circuits are things that are in the
What's
forefront.
the other one? The really small lights. Fiber optics?
Fiber optics
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would urge you to read that book. It's
Bendable metal.
Yeah, I don't know how true it is. Who knows? He's dead now. We can't interview him. But it's a really fascinating. It's fascinating to see what we've, and where did these guys come from? And so you don't subscribe to the any of the extraterrestrial theories where these things are us from the future coming to visit.
I haven't really done a deep dive into that subject.
Michael P.
Oh, no,
Masters wrote a book about it, and it's a really hard read. It's kind of like a textbook because he's a scholar. It's hard to get through, but it's not a fun read.
It has a lot of big words for me.
Yeah, it has a lot of big words.
Yeah, no, I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
It's another theory about and why are they crashing? I mean, they don't know how to.
Gifts. Those are gifts.
It's during Roswell they said that the radar, we advanced the radar and it did something to make them. We could actually beam, align a beam and then shoot these things down. And
Oh,
it's like,
really?
I don't
Well,
know.
I heard something about gravity waves. That's
Yeah, it could
Yeah.
be something
when
like
they're coming
that.
in.
Where they
But,
should get shut down.
I don't really understand the science between everything. But I'll just go a different direction a little bit.
Yep.
I think that there are different races coming here of extraterrestrials, and some are more advanced than others.
Yep.
And we're new on
Yep.
Earth still. We're considered a young race. We can't travel the world yet, but perhaps there are some whose technology works. Just they've been around longer and they're coming to Earth, and then some that are a little bit newer and they don't have the same. For example, maybe I'm just throwing these names out there. Maybe
No,
the
that's
Greys
fine.
don't have the same technology as the Palladians.
Right. Right.
Okay, so I've never heard of a Palladian ship crashing. All right, they have better technology. They call them light ships. I hear that they have different ships for different kinds of missions, and that the Greys are the only ones that I've heard of that ever crash.
Yeah.
Every time I've seen a video of an ET that crashed that were captured was gray.
Yeah.
So maybe they have some things to work on, and maybe they've gotten better at it. I haven't heard about them crashing in many, many years. Have
Right.
you?
No. Well,
Nothing
we
lately.
may not either. If
Yeah,
something
true.
crashes and we may not hear about it. So.
That's true. But we used to. They were
Yep.
more open, I guess, to sharing. I don't know. But those are the only beings that I've heard of. That there was this one town. Gosh, I wish I could remember it. Where there was, you might know it, a down spacecraft in the United States in the Midwest somewhere, and they found the being, and he was. Maybe he lived for a while. Anyway, they buried him in a
Oh,
cemetery.
Yeah,
that's
Texas.
Texas. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Was that a gray alien? Do you know?
They don't know. I mean, they drew like
I
a
think
picture.
it was.
That was the
Yeah.
one where they crashed into the windmill or something, and then they put the ship down a well.
And they buried him under
then
a
they
tree.
buried him under a tree,
And then they went looking for him.
and
they
he
couldn't
had a
find him.
tombstone, and they had it. He
Yep.
actually had they had a ceremony for him,
Right.
and
right.
so I don't. the grays always seem to be the ones that are crashing.
That are
I don't know, maybe
crashing,
they're-
right?
Well,
So
Zondo said that maybe they're not as far advanced as we like to think they are. So, are they going to have mistakes? Absolutely. I don't think anything that advanced is always going to be perfect. So, and then the other thing is they were gifted to us. So those aren't actually, they're stage crashed or they leave them because a lot of these ships that have been found are just literally perfect. So that again kind of goes back to her example of many different things. I think it's many different races of whatever they are.
Well, they say there's a theory that the grays are actually just they're not even they're
real.
like
They're not.
they're not real. They're like non. I don't want to say non-human.
You want to say
they're-
NHI?
Yeah, there's something. And then the Pleiadians or whatever, they're like subservient to the another race.
Mm-hmm.
They're here just to do the dirty work. So
Aurora
to speak.
Cemetery, Texas. That's our
Yeah.
there you go. Yeah, I never knew if
Crash
that
on the
was
windmill.
gray or not. It just occurred to me. But I know there are some stories where beings that were humanoid came down in their ships and lived among humanity, and they were not grays. But they
Yeah.
didn't crash either.
Correct. Yeah.
And
They're
then
the
they
better
left.
drivers.
Venetians too. I mean, there
The
was that
Venusians,
story
yeah.
about the one who went to the president at the time.
Yeah.
Went to the Pentagon.
There's so many different stories. So
Yeah.
they're all different. Do some of them kind of are similar? Absolutely. So again, that really goes back to the theory that there's many different things happening all at once, as in our time era or timeline.
So to your latest work, Constance, when's the latest book gonna? You have a time frame for?
That's the one you're shopping for.
I'm shopping around, yeah,
Is-
and I'm if
You want to pitch it? Pitch it on here?
What title? You got a title for it, or?
Yeah, Beneath Earth's Waters, the mysteries of underwater submerged objects and non-human intelligence. And frankly speaking, I absolutely adore my current publisher, but they have a book that is that they published in the 70s that is related to the subject. So it's not exactly my book. It's different. All of the books are different. There's enough room for us all to write about the same thing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But so that's why I'm shopping it around, because they've got, something.
Okay, so if you're a publisher out there and she's got amazing books already, get a hold of you. You have a website or any way they can get a hold of you?
ConstanceVictoriaBriggs.com.
Perfect.
My website.
All right.
Good. So you're married. So what's your husband think about all this?
Yeah.
That's the same thing my wife says.
No. He thinks I'm on. He believes that we are being visited.
Good. He supports.
Extraterrestrials. Yeah. No, he's very supportive.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I don't have a problem there. Sometimes I think, oh my God, my husband's very mainstream. He's an engineer, telecommunications, and
Right.
we're different in that. But he does believe in that we're being visited. Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife doesn't believe, but if she can't put her hand on it, she doesn't understand about the concept, I should say.
My girlfriend thinks we're all crazy.
Yeah, we're all tinfoil hat.
Yeah.
people,
Yeah. She thinks we're all nuts.
she supports our work, but
Right.
But
she doesn't understand.
there's people out there that unless it lands on their lawn and it tells them, hey, get in the ship, we're real, they're not going to believe. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, and that's just, I just understand that there's people like that,
Well, most of the people I'll ask, with much to my wife's dismay, as we go through antiquing or whatever, I'll ask people randomly if they believe. And a lot of people just say, well, it's a big universe, so we can't possibly be the only ones out there.
Yeah,
which is-
that's the line.
That's
now.
what people say when you don't want.
Yes,
them to
there's
seem
things
like
out
they're
there,
crazy.
but are they here? Is the,
Yeah,
is
are
the
they
actual
here?
question.
Are they?
I believe in both. Yes, they're here, and there's things out there.
I think disclosure's coming. It's a drip, and not a full-fledged faucet.
That's right.
Full on.
That's
But
right.
we're slowly. Did you see the latest Disclosure film? The one you have to pay for?
I haven't seen it yet. No, I was
neither.
busy finishing my manuscript, so I was tied down.
Yeah.
I haven't
I'll
seen
get
it
to
either.
it. It's on my list.
Yep.
Yeah,
But
it's on my list too, but I've heard from other people that it isn't anything that the three of us have
Not heard already.
haven't already heard of. So, I mean, I wouldn't expect...
It's probably for other people, though.
It's good for people that have a hard time understanding what might be out there. But it's not, it's not anything. I wouldn't throw that $20 out there yet. I mean, we're gonna see it, but I don't think it's it's for people that are want to have an understanding of what possibly is going on. But it's coming. That'll be a new book for you when it finally comes out. We really see it.
Disclosure.
The Disclosure book. They're really
Honestly,
here.
I believe we have had a disclosure. Confirmation is what I'm thinking that people need more than anything. I already believe we have a disclosure. What's 2017 and the government going, yep, there's things up there, we don't know what they are.
Right.
That's pretty close to disclosure for me.
Well,
Yeah.
I guess it means differently to most people.
Well, the government doesn't want us to think that they can't protect us from
Correct.
everything.
So they're not going to go past that. They're
So
not
that's
go
where
into
we're at.
like,
That's really where we're at right now.
I don't even think we're ever
mean,
going to get that.
They don't want us to know that, this. They're probably not harmful to us. I don't know. We could go on and on about cattle mutilations and things.
Or whale mutilations. That's crazy. I've never heard that before. That's insane.
Whale mutilations is different.
Yeah.
The sonar. The thing is, the sonar is pretty invasive to marine life
Yeah, it
out
hurts
there.
things.
It's really. My brother was telling me it's
kills
pretty bad. I
whales.
don't know if you've heard of them. I mean, we could go on and on. There's the mermaids. There's a thing about there are mermaids in the sea. Are these things the aliens, or and is the sonar damaging to them? And there's all kinds of weird.
Yeah, they're ruining it for mermaids for me. I love mermaids. If I could show you the mermaids around my office, and I even have a beautiful mermaid necklace. They've got all stuff out there now that's really, really horrendous looking.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're not pleasant looking.
No, what's going on?
Well, they're aliens. I don't know.
I'm hopeful that there's more than one kind of mermaid down there too. That what I'm seeing isn't it. What they're showing us, but. Yeah, so I was going to say something, but I lost my thought. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Mermaids. It was about mermaids.
All right. Well, we appreciate you coming on, talking about your new book. You have a time frame when you're. Is it written, or if you?
I think it's written, and she's looking for a publisher.
You're
right?
looking for
It's written. I've sent it out,
Yeah.
and in the end, maybe I'll self-publish. I've never done that before. I've been very, very fortunate in my writing career. I've written 6 books,
Right.
and people just buy them.
Are they on Amazon? Are your other books on Amazon?
I know I have 2 of them. I think it was the moon one and the other one. So yeah.
Yeah,
So they can-
they're all on Amazon in
Yep.
different subjects too.
Yep.
Yeah,
How are they selling? How are sales? Are they doing
they're
okay?
okay.
Nobody gets rich off.
You're
books.
not getting rich.
Nobody gets rich.
Nobody
off
gets
books.
rich off of writing. It's got to be a passion. Well, not me anyway. It's got to be a passion and a love if you do it, or put yourself out there, for the marketing. And I'm not someone who has to rely on it for
Right.
for a living. For people who do have to rely on it, then it is really a tough business. Really, it is.
Well,
I do it because I love it, and I have made it my mission to let people know that I want people to know we're not alone in the universe.
Yep.
So it's my thing. I try to chronicle everything that's going on. I hope that one day, if the internet ever was to go down or we had to start over, maybe I've got the books will be salvaged and people can look up information. I have those kind of little fantasies, but. Yeah, so they're on Amazon. You can get them, and if you don't get them, look for me on podcasts because I'm talking about them. all the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're not getting rich doing this podcast either.
Right?
So it's
It's a
we
labor of
put our job is to get the word out, and listen to my dog bark.
Yeah, he's their third.
My dog, my German Shepherd is being bothered by something in the back door. But thanks for coming on.
Yes,
we
thank
appreciate
you
it.
so much.
Thanks for
Once
having
again, I
me.
think this is 3 times. I think
That's all right. We're gonna have her on multiple times. Again.
Yeah, you're welcome on anytime. We appreciate
I love the
it.
conversations. Yeah.
Well,
And,
thank you. I am, like I said, I'm working on something called Constance's Universe of Themes, so that we can break down the books. The chapters in the Earth book, for example, they've got the Inner Earth. Let's see, I've got Inner Earth, Stargates, portals, wormholes.
So you gotta have her on
extraterrestrials, and
again.
more.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Glad we
Jessica,
got it again.
I'll
We'll
see
We
you
need
by
to
your
get cover
university.
that.
We'll break that down.
Yes.
Awesome. Thanks, Constance. Appreciate
Thank
you
you.
coming on.
Thanks for having
And,
me. I enjoy you guys having
We
me on.
appreciate
Same.
it. All right. Take it easy. Thank
You
you.
too. Bye
All right.
now.
Bye now.
Yep.
Thanks for listening to the latest episode of the Alien Probe Podcast. We welcome comments, questions, or guest requests to alienprobepodcast@gmail.com. Visit us on Facebook. Listen to us wherever you get your favorite podcasts, Twitter and Instagram at Alien Probe Pod, YouTube and Rumble at Alien Probe Podcast. We also have a paid version on Patreon if you'd like to show your support. However, the content is free on all other platforms.